Hi guys, it's Georgie. Before I start my video, I just wanted to say something really quick. As of the filming of this video, which is July 11th, 2024, we have reached over 600 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is really, it blows my mind. I am beyond happy that this has occurred. You guys have been so great. I can't believe that I have gotten to this point. I mean, 600 subscribers may not be a lot to most YouTubers, but I have never even imagined I would have a YouTube video, much less that I would have any subscribers, not to mention 600 subscribers. So you guys have really made me happy. When you like and subscribe, and especially when you leave a comment, it makes me feel that maybe I've touched your heart and made you smile and maybe brought you a little inspiration. And that just makes me so happy. It really does. I really enjoy making these videos, but when you guys give me feedback, that's really what makes it all worthwhile. Because if you've ever made any videos, you know that the posting of the video is the last part. The entire filming, editing, uploading, posting, all that takes many hours for each video, even if it's a short video. So, and I enjoy doing it, I really do, but it's your feedback that makes it even more enjoyable, and I really appreciate all of you. So thank you so much. And now on with our program. Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing well. What do we have here today? This is actually the perfect base for many ephemera possibilities. They could be made into tags, they could be made into journal cards, bookmarks, greeting cards folded in half, or a folio folded in thirds or fourths, really anything that you can possibly think of. And what did I use to make this? I will show you. I have these advertisements, circulars, flyers, junk mail, whatever you want to call them. And really they're the perfect thickness for covering up with book pages, magazine pages, plain paper, wrapping paper, wallpaper, digitals, plain brown paper, like maybe from a paper bag, really anything that you want to cover these with and make ephemera out of, these are great for. My favorite way to cover these is by using a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, and I'll show you why. Thing is, as it seems to be with these anyway, each one turns out to be 6 inches. Can you see that? 6 inches in height, which makes it perfect to sandwich between a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Now, they come in different widths, as you can see. Most of these are 9 inches, but we have also one that is 11 inches. But so they come in different widths, but they can all be used with the scrapbook paper. So here's what I did. I chose several sheets of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper from a few different pads that I have. If you're interested in knowing what paper pads I used, just let me know in the comments, and I would be happy to let you know which papers went with which pads. So here's just a few possibilities of papers you can use, many different styles and patterns. I don't know what I will use them for, but here we have it. Now, I do have most of my papers chosen are non-directional. As you can see, like the pattern is all over the page, and if you use it any which way, it's going to look fine. I do have, like, for instance, this one's kind of directional. I didn't want to use too many that have words or images that are facing one direction, because that way when you fold it in half around the flyer, some of it's going to be upside down. One of the things that you can do is, here's something that's a little bit directional. We've got flowers going upwards. You can see the leaves are here and the flowers are at the top. Now, one thing that we can do is turn the paper sideways so that your flowers are kind of swimming across the page like so. And also, as in the case of this particular one that I did, the flowers are swimming across the page. As you can see, when I have it turned this way, the flowers are going upwards, see? So I just turned it sideways, and now they're going sideways, and it looks just fine, I think. That's just an option that you can consider when you're picking out your papers. So one of the things that we could do with this one possibly is to cut it into tags, in which case the flowers would be winding up upwards anyway. So I have no real plan here, but I thought I would just cover up a few of these and see what we can do to make them into ephemera. So I like using this Scotch permanent glue stick, and the reason is it covers really well, has excellent coverage, it sticks well, it doesn't warp the paper, and it's minimally messy. You of course can use whatever glue suits your fancy, as long as it sticks all the way down to the flyer and can be sandwiched in between the papers. So I take a piece of 12 by 12 paper and I fold it in half like so. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. Now, if your flyer doesn't fit perfectly, like this one has a little tiny bit peeking out because measurements aren't usually always exact, you can always just trim that off later. It's no big deal. It's just a tiny bit. So what we'll do is glue one side. I like to get glue all over to make sure that there's no bubbles. And so I'm just going to stick that down close to the edge so we don't waste paper. Fold it in half around it. Smooth it down really good so it's nice and smooth. You can use a bone folder like I'm using. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use your hand, or you can use a dry cloth, or maybe an old credit card, or anything that you want to make your ephemera nice and flat. So now we have some excess here that we're just going to cut off with either scissors or a trimmer, whatever you like to use. I'm going to use a trimmer. I'm going to fold this a little bit so that I know right where to cut. So it folds right where the edge of the flyer is at. And then we just do like so. Save the scraps, of course. And voila, there we go. We've got one. Very nice. I like it. You have the perfect size, shape, and thickness for any kind of ephemera without any pesky measuring. There. So what I think I'll do is go ahead and just cover up a few of these real quick, and I'll speed it up. But first, I want to tell you how I got a hold of all of these flyers, because it was actually kind of funny how it happened. First, I only had a few, and I says to my husband, if you see any of these, make sure that you save them because I want to make something out of them. So the next day, he comes in with the mail, and wouldn't you know it, the postman had left us not only our own flyers addressed to us, but also the flyers for everyone on the rest of the block, which is like 4 or 5 houses. So I was like, yay! I guess I'm manifesting. And then I was like, I'm manifesting junk mail. So what does that say about me? But I was happy, and I didn't think anybody would miss their junk mail. So here we are. One person's junk is another person's treasure, and this junk mail is a treasure to me, and hopefully it will be to you. So here we are. Okay, so I can see that this one wasn't exact. The flyer was just a smidgen bigger than the paper, but that is okay. We will just trim that later. It's not the end of the world. Another thing is, I was thinking you want to make sure that when you put your glue down, that it sticks all the way to the edges. So that way it's just, you know, it's on there really good, that's all. So get your edges really good. That's why I got this glue book underneath. It's an old catalog. Again, junk mail. Junk mail is our friend in the junk journaling world. That is for sure. So I have quite a few that I did not wind up using, but I have, I think, plenty to choose from to start off with. I've got these 2 that I made in the beginning, and then I've got these I just need to cut down, and I will cut down those really quick. Again, I like to fold where the circular ends so that I know right where to cut. Okay, so look at that. We've got a whole stack now. They're all covered, and one thing that you could do is just make up a bunch of these, just like this, and then have them ready to use into making some kind of ephemera. So now let's think of what we can make out of these. We can make tags, we can make junk journal cards, we can make bookmarks, we can make folios. I actually have a folio that I made out of one that I really like that I think I will show you. Take a look at this bad boy. Oops, here we go. So this is a little folio with a closure made out of a strip of paper that I just take off like that. It's got a butterfly on there for decoration, and it's got butterflies on it. It's got some washi tape around the edge, And I also sewed around the edge. I don't know. It's in really light blue, so you can't really see it. But there is sewing on the edge. And inside we have a big butterfly with some mulberry paper in the background. A pretty decorative thing on top there. It says adventure. And then we've got some pockets on the side with a bunch of little butterfly cards. Like so. See the butterfly cards? Aren't they cute? And the pockets are just made out of book page and some washi tape. So there you go. There is just a fun little possible project, one out of millions that you could possibly make out of these flyers and scrapbook paper or whatever paper you decide to use. One of the things I also like about the Scotch permanent glue stick is that it dries fast. So these will be ready to be cut right away. And one of the things that I was thinking to consider is, as far as what ephemera to make these pieces into, it kind of depends on what you want your back to look like, what you want your front to look like, what you want the end result to look like. For instance, this I think would make really great tags because it's busy on both sides. We could cut them down into tags and they'll be almost all the way ready to be used. You can't write on the back of them, but I don't care. I don't necessarily need to write on the back of all my tags. But say, for instance, I wanted to make journal tags, then I might use something like this. And I would cut this down, probably 4 sections, and both sides are usable to write on. You can write on those. You can decorate on one side and you can write on the other. And then you got something like this, which has this extra bit of junk mail sticking through. So I'm going to go ahead right now and just trim that off like so. Some of it's coming out the side. So there. So I mentioned cutting this one into tags, and so I want to cut them equally. And I actually happen to have the handiest thing that I have bought in a long time. And I recently got this, so recently it still has its plastic on it. But it is a 0, see if you can see this, 0 center ruler. So you got 0 in the middle, 1 on each side, 2, 3, and so on. So the way to go about using this, I guess, would be to center the ruler into the middle of your paper. So here we've got the 0 in the center. I know because there's a 3 on one side, there's a 3 on the other side. That makes the middle one 0. And I could just make a little pencil mark right there. Just a little pencil mark right there. So we're going to try and center it on this side now. And looks like the way to do that is 4.5 on one side, 4.5 on the other side, and 0 is in the center. And I will make a pencil mark right there. So if you don't have one of these fancy 0 rulers, you don't have to worry. You can use a regular ruler and measure. Just find your middle. And then something that I've been doing using a regular ruler for most of my life. Well, at least the years that I've been crafting. So it's possible. It's completely possible. And if you want to get one of these, I got this from Temu for really cheap. So there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this into quarters. There's my pencil mark. There's my other pencil mark. This one I didn't mark, but I can by using another one of these. So I said there was no measuring, and there's not really any that you have to do. This is just, you know, measuring as you're making the ephemera, but to actually make the bases, you don't have to do any measuring. So that's pretty cool. So there we got these 4 sweet little journaling cards, which you can't write on because they're covered in busy flowers. So I think I will make them into tags. And I will use a tag template. Here's one. I think maybe I'll try this side and see how that looks. Just cut that. Yeah, those are nice. What do you think? Let me just cut the other ones into tags too. Oh, I like this one with the shadowy bottom, so I think I'll turn those over to the bottom. Great tags. We can just poke some holes in those. How about that? I was going to use a regular hole punch and I cannot find it. So I'm going to go ahead and use this crocodile and I'll make the hole using this 3/16 inch hole. I'll do a couple at a time. There. Now all we got to do is decorate the tags and put some eyelets maybe if we want, or some ribbon, ink the edges. These are just bases, so they look very nice. I'm very happy with them. So we've got tags now. That's something to start with. Let's see what else we can make. I thought this would make good journaling cards since they have, you know, lines where you can write on them. One side can be decorated and one side can be written on. So we can just cut these down into journaling cards. Now there is some excess on the edges, on 2 of the edges anyway. So I'm going to trim that off. Just a ever so slight smidgen of that. There. So then again, to decide how to cut them so that they're even, I'm going to use the zero middle ruler. 4.5 on one side, 4.5 on the other side. Mark a pencil mark there. And do the same thing up here. So this one's 3 and 3 since it's 6 inches long. And we'll make a pencil mark there. Again, we're going to use the one that's been cut as a template. And that is how we get 4 equally sized, or relatively equally sized, journaling cards. One of the things I like to do with journaling cards is round the corners because these are sharp. So we're going to use a corner rounder like this. And I'm going to use this 7mm rounder. So there's 4 journaling cards ready to be inked on the edges and decorated on one side with stickers, stamps, washi tape, paint, anything that we might want to use. Let's see what else we've got. I kind of like this one to use as a folio. I think maybe I'll do the folio last because it's my favorite one to do. I think a fun thing to make out of something like this, or maybe something like this, or even something like this, would be to make those into bookmarks. And this being blank like this one would be another one to make great journaling cards, because you can write on one side and you can put images on the other side. So let's make some bookmarks out of one of these. Which one should we make bookmarks out of? This one seems like it would make nice bookmarks. So let's measure out some equal distance bookmarks and see how many we can make comfortably. So there's the middle. Put a pencil mark in the middle of there. And then, well, let me cut that in half first. Cut that in half first. I don't know if that's actually equal. It's not equal. I cut them wrong. But that's okay. It is okay, because it doesn't matter. So we can cut these in half to make, yeah, that would make nice bookmarks, wouldn't it? I'll do them one at a time just to be safe. Oh, but I want to make sure I cut them in the middle. So, not that it really matters. Four very nice bookmarks, which can be, again, decorated in any which way that we want to decorate it, or we can leave them as they are because they're really pretty as they are. So one of the things I like to do with bookmarks is the same thing I like to do with journaling cards, and that is round the corners, and I will do that really quick. There. Four nice bookmarks with smooth rounded edges. I also think that maybe rounding the little bottoms of these tags would be good. I'm not gonna use this one. I'm gonna use the sharper point, just so they ever so slightly smoothed out on the corners, but they don't look really round. So what do you think? Does that look a little bit better? I think that looks a little bit better, doesn't it? There. Okay, so we've got tags, we've got journaling cards, we got bookmarks. How about we make a greeting card out of one? This one seems like a good one because you can still write some sort of a message on the inside and you can decorate the outside. So I'm going to just literally fold this right in half. Crease. Take something sharp, or not sharp, take something like a bone folder or the edge of your scissors like this and crease the bend of the card. Take your corner rounder if you wish, so that you don't have these sharp corners that could poke your eye out, and you can round the corners. And there, all you have to do is find an envelope and decorate your front, ink your edges if you want, write a sentiment on the inside, and if you don't want to write on the patterned paper because you think it's attractive or whatever, you can always put, you know, a little piece of paper inside there. Or what would be super sweet is like a piece of vellum, or you could use tracing paper as like an inner piece of paper to write on, that you just glue right in the middle. And that would be really elegant and make a really nice greeting card. So that is option number 4. I think my favorite option has to be the folio. I enjoy the folio. I don't know why, but I do. So maybe let's make one of these into a folio. Which one should we use? This one, these all would make a great folio. I think maybe I'll use these forks, knives, and spoons. When I say folio, I mean like a trifold folio, so 3 panels, and that way the panels on the inside could be decorated any which way. Each fold could be folded or could be decorated in any which way. Let's see. First thing I'll do is round the corners. Okay, so now I think what I'll do is fold it into thirds by scoring it in 2 different places, here and here. I could eyeball it or I could measure it. I think I'll measure it. So to make it equal, I'll do, since this is 9 inches across, I'll do a little mark at 3 and at 6. And then I could just fold it, but I'm not really good at folding without making it crooked, so I'm going to use a scoreboard. So here we go. Where'd that pencil mark go? There it is. 3 inches. So hopefully that will help a little bit, help us. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we have a situation that I knew would occur, and that is that if we fold one side over, we cannot fold the front over on top of it because it overlaps the crease. So what I'll do is just trim off the side. I could have tried to measure it a little bit better so that it wouldn't do that, but I'm not really good at math. So I'm going to just trim the side really quick. Let's see. There. That's very nice. Nice. Okay, so now I have to redo these corners. Should have done that afterwards, but I didn't. So here we go. And we get a little folio. So sweet. And then these kind of tend to pop open. So maybe I'll just tie something around here real quick. And I think what I'll do is call it done. I'm going to call this video done because otherwise it's going to go on for hours and hours and it'll be too much. So if you want to see some decorating, I will link some of my videos below where I did some decorating, and you can see some ideas for ways that I might possibly decorate these. But for now, I will show you what we have. Oh, first I was going to tie a string around this. I found this green crinkle seam binding that I use a lot for ribbon, and I will make a little tie for this folio right here. The color of this is called Frosted Lime, so that's very nice. I think it matches well. Hopefully I caught enough off. Looks a little small. I should have made longer one. That's okay, it's good, it'll work. Yay! Isn't that adorable? And you open it up. I'm just And there it is. And we can decorate the inside, make pockets, put pictures, anything. Great, so let's go through all the things that we made. This is the folio from before that I was showing you, the ones with the butterflies inside. And well, let's just look at it real quick. Remember the butterfly and the butterfly cards. So that's that. And we've got our folio. And we have our 4 beautiful tags. We have our 4 lovely journaling cards ready to go. We have 4 lovely bookmarks with roses climbing up them on both sides. Very nice. So many possibilities here. We have a greeting card ready to be filled in with somebody's sentiments and sent off to somebody. Oh, and then we have these left over that we did not do. So that is our easy ephemera made with junk mail, flyers, circulars, not sure exactly what they're called, but they are excellent. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.